tree that will take your breath away. Santa's Best was the very first company to create a pre-lit Christmas tree. The very first. And they deal in LEDs, which do not burn out. They last a lifetime, if you will, and they've knocked themselves out to bring you their grand spruce. In the world of Christmas trees, a spruce tree is at the top of the feeding chain. It really is. Get to introduce you to a buddy. Dan, welcome back, man.
Nice to see you.
I've been waiting for this tree. Here's the crazy thing. I knew a year and a half ago you were working on it.
Yeah.
This is the unveiling of the new tree.
Yeah, we're so happy, and you and I both are a big fan of this faceted 6mm bulb.
Absolutely.
It really sort of marries up some of the nostalgia with the bigger bulb, but we put technology in it, and we put this faceting, so the refracting of that light is really just amazing.
So think of LEDs and everything you think that they look like, and then look at this and tell me if it doesn't remind you of childhood. Because it's like a little pine cone. Can you go to a color? Watch this. Thank you. That way you'll see it. Now, all that refraction that he talked about, it looks like a little pine cone.
It does.
But you're also noticing something. In the olden days, means 5 years ago.
Right.
You had to pick.
I've aged 10 in those 5 years.
Exactly.
It's strange.
You had to pick whether you wanted clear lights or whether you wanted multicolor.
Right.
And there was no compromise. But you've got 7 different lighting functions.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even tell you how many color combinations, because they created this RBG, red, blue, and green.
Yeah, this is a color change, right?
That gives you every color in the rainbow. Now, size-wise, I've got a 5.5-foot tree that is the perfect tree for any of you who are saying, I'm going to downsize. I don't want to mess with an 8-foot tree. I don't want to mess with the big stuff. This is perfect. And I'll tell you a secret. You put it on a little table, it looks like an 8-foot tree.
Absolutely, yeah. Put it on a pedestal, or put it in a kid's room, or there's a lot of, it's a very versatile size.
It's brand new, you're seeing it for the very first time. I've got 5 dozen of the 5-footers. I'm sorry, that's it. I want you to see what they do at Santa's Best.
And you know what, I'm gonna shut the lights off for you, because you can see how amazingly authentic that spruce look is.
And so many of these tips are actually molded tips that were molded from a real tree. And you'll notice that the interior of these branches is brown and the exterior is the green, just like Mother Nature. That's the closest thing to a real tree. And then, this is crazy, on a 5-foot tree, Dan, your people put 240 lights
240
on.
lights.
So I got a 5-footer, I've got a 6.5-footer.
6.5-foot right here.
This is a traditional 7.5-foot tree, and when I say a handful, I've got a couple dozen of the 9-footers, and that's it.
Right.
I've got 4 dozen.
Wow.
To go between now and the end of the year. That's a spectacular tree.
Really is.
I love this new bulb technique.
I do too. I really love it, because you know what makes it so unique is that if you're not going to be decorating with ornaments, this works.
Okay.
If you are, it works. That's the beautiful. It works as a primary tree, but as a secondary tree, because these almost work as little ornaments, and that's the beauty of this size bulb.
Part of the discussion, I wasn't going to bring this up. Being the Christmas guy here at QVC, the expectations I think the viewers have is that every inch of my home is perfectly decorated.
Right. It is.
2 years, well, the outside, it's getting better.
Right.
For the last 2 years, I put up a Santa's Best Christmas tree in my living room. We never put an ornament on it. I just ran out of time. And it was still gorgeous.
Right.
Now we're talking about a tree by itself without ornaments as gorgeous. How many different color combinations can you do with this?
So
bud?
we have a total of 7. So we have a multi, a warm white, and a pastel, which is a really interesting colorway right here. We call it a pastel, but really it's those sort of muted jewel tones. You've seen a lot in those sort of high-end decorator magazines. And then we've created a little bit of functionality. We've added a slow fade. We've added a fast flip
like a light
back
show.
and forth. Yeah, so it's like this gently soothes, goes out of the warm white, and then goes into the multi. The multi almost look on these bulbs looks like gumdrops or something.
Rich.
They really are.
And no offense in any way, shape, or form, because you know I was a purist. I fought the idea of LED for a long time.
Right.
these don't look like LEDs.
Right, particularly
These
on
look
this
like
warm white.
like light bulbs, with the density of the light, the brightness of the light, the way your eye catches it. They are tremendous. And if you look closely, again, that's that new honeycomb style light that no one else has. This tree has a 5-year warranty on it.
That's right.
With technology that makes it the simplest, easiest tree to ever set up. Do you remember Dad setting up a Christmas tree when you were a kid?
I remember hearing things I wasn't allowed to say.
Yeah, Mom would chase us out of the living room, down into the basement. Go play in the basement.
Right.
Because my dad would be in there. Because he'd get the entire lights strung around the tree.
Right.
He'd plug them in. One bulb would be out. And you could just see the vein on my father's forehead start to.
Oh my gosh.
And then
I
half
remember.
the light strand would go out.
And it wasn't even that many years ago. That's the
No.
crazy part. I mean, until we really jumped into what we do with LED, and these have continuous on. So continuous on meaning if one bulb goes out, falls out, it doesn't matter.
rest stay lit.
Everything else stays lit. So, you know, and they're easy to put together. We'll show you in a little bit, but
Yeah.
all of these have easy power. So as you talk about that pain you remember putting together the
Oh,
Christmas
yeah.
tree, no longer.
So brand new, you're seeing it for the very first time, brand new. And it is a gorgeous spruce. Now, pricing again, I got a 5-footer that's available to you. I have a 6.5 foot, I have a 7.5 foot, and I have a handful of the 9-footers. The price tag on this, on the 5-footer of under $200, just so you know, that's big box store pricing.
Absolutely.
On a high-end, very high-end designer tree manufactured by Santa's Best. And that's a big deal. They are the very first company to create the idea of a pre-lit Christmas tree. You want to?
Let's step over here and we'll
Set
show
up a
you how to
tree?
put this together. And this is the beauty. This is our easy power technology. I can't believe I'm going to do this.
Oh, it's a
All right.
special
It
day.
is a special day. So anyway,
So
each
that's what the
tree-
remote control feels like.
Each tree comes with this proportionately sized X stand. It comes with 3 eye bolts as well, but you'll notice we even put the rubber feet on. We
So it
think of
doesn't bar
everything.
the floor,
So it
and it's
doesn't-
steel.
And it's steel, exactly. So here's our first section, and this is just simply section A. And all you're gonna do is put our section right here into
Right.
the stand.
And by the way,
Comes with a foot pedal.
Can I?
Exactly. Yes,
Ready?
please, let me plug it in. But this, mind you, this will be the only plug that we'll be plugging in.
Pardon
This
me.
is the 2-bladed plug into
Got
the
it?
wall.
okay, that foot pedal is a nice touch. It means
It is.
I'm 59 years of age now. I'm not crawling under the Christmas tree to unplug it in the back.
Right.
Now with the remote control, I don't have to do that, but that foot pedal sure makes it
Yeah,
nice.
it makes it easy.
Now watch this. This
is really cool. But also, I want to point this out. Look how lush. Our branches start really in the back of the tree and move
Yep.
outwards. Not when you see those really inexpensive, cheap trees where they've put all the filler out there.
Yeah.
No, this is all quality. This is all memory steel, so you know it's going to fall down and into place.
And I also want people at home to understand the cost of memory steel skyrocketed last year after Christmas.
Right.
So I think these prices are extremely reasonable. This is technology that only Santa's Best has.
Right.
I don't
That's
have
smooth,
to fit
no
a
lining
slot
up.
into a tab and an A into a B and all you do is just drop it in.
And the heaviest section on any one of these trees is 14 pounds. So think about
Okay.
that. What's a toddler weigh?
Yeah.
Probably 20 pounds.
Well, a
so
gallon
less
of milk
than-
weighs 8.
Right,
so, you
right.
know,
Yeah, exactly. The human head weighs what? I forget.
Well, it
What was
depends
on that
upon-
movie, right?
Depends upon whether you're on TV or not.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there it is. That's our C section right there. A, B, and C. You can see this has 500 of those
And that's
perfectly
sad.
placed bulbs.
There's not an ornament on this tree, but you can't tell me that isn't a gorgeous tree. So let me give you the pricing on each one so that you know where you stand, and we'll go through the light count as well. That 9-foot tree, I am the first one to say it's an investment. That's a $600 price tag on that gorgeous 9-foot tree. But it is as beautiful as any tree I've ever seen. I will also say it is lit further into the body of the tree than any 9-footer that I've ever seen.
Yeah, and the key point is we made this 59 inches at the base. So we measure literally from tip
Okay.
to tip. And the reason
so
we
it's
did
not
that,
a super fatty.
Exactly. It's our mid-size profile. And the reason why we do that, because if you have a 2-story foyer, this is going to work perfectly. It's not going to be overbearing to any
Right.
place. You won't need to move your furniture. You don't need to worry about kissing the front door. It's really, and with these bulbs, it can work perfectly as like a secondary tree.
There's 800 lights.
800 lights.
On that tree. As you step over to 7.5 footer, an unheard of 540 lights on it, and not having to choose between multicolor and white.
And I put it on just this. This is you know, just to give you an idea. This is our multi, and it gently toggles back and forth, so it answers the age-old question for everybody. So you know, when my kids are up and I want my warm white, I still can get a little bit of it while they still get what they want.
This is a new light, and it's the very first tree that we've done that has featured it.
Right.
In fact, there's no true name for it other than what the engineers call it.
Right. I mean, we basically have it, we call it a, you know, the technical term is a 6mm faceted bulb. And really all you need to know about that is exactly as you said. They're a sort of pine cone look, if you will, the honeycomb look. And then here, let me get you on a on a
it looks like a little pine cone.
Right.
But every one of those facets takes the light and does something that LEDs couldn't do before. It used to be that if you looked at an LED straight on, you saw light, but you saw no color.
Right.
And now wherever you look, you see nothing but rich, deep, penetrating color that reminds us it's exactly what we thought Christmas lights should look like when we were a kid.
You bring up such a good point, because you see that? That's a warm white. These bulbs are not colored.
At all.
Almost, you would think that they really are, because if you look at this, you say, okay, well, that's clearly a yellow bulb.
No, and every bit of that plastic is now amber, or red, or blue, or green, and it's not. It's just the light coming out from the original LED and cascading through every one of those. It's like a regular diamond, if you see it in nature. I hate to say, it looks like a lump of cheap glass until an artisan facets it. And then it sparkles and explodes with all the colors of the rainbow.
That's a great
analogy. That's what your tree has done. I'm really
and just to go back to this spruce tip right here, it really is that wider needle, so we mirrored it right after Mother Nature. But you can see, as you pointed out earlier, even down to the veining, we've married up what Mother Nature does. So it not only has a realistic look, but it has a realistic feel.
It's gorgeous. So that's your 7.5 footer. I've got a 6.5 footer, and then this little favorite guy. For under $200, I don't know where I'll put this tree, but I'll find a place.
Or if you know somebody that's going into assisted living, this is so easy to put together, because, again, with our easy power, and you can see it's bringing that joy of Christmas with
Kelly's
these bulbs.
always wanted a tree in the kitchen,
but
our kitchen, it's small.
Yeah.
I don't even have to move the table very far away from the corner to get this in the corner.
Not at all. So this is going to be 36 inches wide, so it's 3 feet wide.
So it takes up about the same amount of room as a chair.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Dan.
Hey, thank you for having me.
You know what? And thanks for bringing it to me.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me launch
we appreciate all your input, because we love this bulb and we think it looks amazing.
That is gorgeous. Thank you for letting me invade your living room for 3 hours. I'm